Okay. Sarah has the most amazing stories. They are absolutely fantastic. We won't be going into all of them today, but her blog is going to be filled with some of those spicy tales of evacuations. And I mean, it's a wild world out there. So definitely go and take a look. After the broadcast. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so let's kind of go into things. Tell me why you decided to start a travel blog and why you call it Far Off Course.
Okay. Well, I've been thinking about doing this for many, many years. And
Yeah.
actually, I've had some kind of form of travel blog a few times before, but nothing to this scale of what I'm doing. It's just, I want a place to document everything, to put my photos, to put what's happening, my stories. I feel like I do have something to contribute, something to share that could be of use to other people. Because
Yeah.
For example, I've been to Greece probably 25 times. So I know really well about, how to plan an itinerary in Greece, what to see in Greece.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, yeah, it's just time. And
Yeah.
why Far Off Course? It seems maybe weird because I'm a tour leader that
No.
leads people on tours, that
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about going off course. But that's because I find in travel and in life
Uh huh.
that when things go really kind of sideways and your plans get kind of thrown out,
Yeah.
that's when the magic really happens.
Exactly.
Like when you're traveling, you have your itinerary, you have your plans, but it's those little things like all of a sudden on the street near your hotel, there's a festival you had no idea about, or your ferry gets canceled, and you end up being invited for dinner at a local family's house, or I don't know, all of these things that kind of in the moment, maybe at first when things go wrong, you're like, oh shit. But then really, if you open yourself up to it, the magic happens. And that's the same kind of thing what I found in life as well.
Well, I think that's the exact case with dating. I mean, life, dating, relationships. People always say, when things go off course and when you're least expecting it, that's when things kind of open up for you.
Totally. And you have to have goals and you have to have plans.
Okay.
And it's like a framework, right?
Okay.
But I really feel like with operating within that kind of framework and working toward your goals, you have to remain open to those moments and those mistakes, or getting lost, or doing the so-called wrong thing, which turns out to be something that changes your life, or is the highlight of your trip. Makes the best travel story.
Yeah. So I have to pause here because we are, and I forgot to say, we're in the lobby of of Mornington Hotel, and it is in the illustrious and exclusive Östermalm Story area of Stockholm. So they were kind enough to offer their space, and they have a really stunning location. And I'm very excited for us to be here because I think it's so fitting that it's almost travel and literary themed here. So
there's a lot of books.
Yes, a lot of books. So if you're ever in the Stockholm area, definitely take a look. It's absolutely beautiful. So,
and there's an amazing looking brunch going on over there. I nearly stole some bacon.
Exactly. So there's like an awesome brunch. So come get food, come get the aesthetic. Just come and join. And of course the champagne. Mm-hmm. It's daytime, but it's 5:00 somewhere. So
it's 5:00. It's Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
True.
It's okay, Saturday. It's Saturday.
Exactly. It is Saturday. So I want to kind of go into a couple of things, right? And I wanted to talk to you about, from the blog, I'm sure you have a ton of stories that you can share with us, and we won't go into that on this episode. But I want to kind of talk about you, and let the viewers get to know who you are. So tell us about, where you're from, whether you're married, single, divorced, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit more about your romantic life.
Okay, my romantic life. Okay, well, I am married.
Okay.
I am almost a newlywed in a way, because we've only been married for 2 years. 2 years. Been
Sometimes
together.
You forget. Yeah,
I know.
That's okay. Cool.
On the spot. Been together 5 years, and but married for 2.
Yeah.
And what else did you ask me to say?
No, just tell us a little bit about your specific dating story. I mean, I remember
Okay.
you talked to me, and as a background, I met Sarah here probably in my first few weeks of being in Stockholm, and we were in language class together, and we almost immediately hit it off.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of hanging out ever since, and
we were both really new.
very, very new, very, very new, and still trying to find our legs, I think, a little bit. And so you talked to me about your experience prior to, being married and having a committed relationship. And I always felt like it was so extraordinary. So tell us a little bit more about how you came to a place where you wanted to date and you wanted to meet somebody.
Okay. Well, I was married before.
And I'm going to have you... Oh, okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Tell us more about that.
So I got married really young. I was I think I was 23 when I got married for the first time. And that was
23.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so no, see, and this is what always happens whenever we talk. I'm always like, tell me more. Like, okay, so you were 23 the first time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was
I'm going to bring this a little closer.
Okay. That was a guy that I met when I was living in China, teaching in China, and
so she's a global person as well. And I hope this.
Oops.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. Let's see. Because I want to bring
some
it close.
double-sided tape.
I need tape. This is what I'm saying. Tape works better than most of the setups I've ever done. So yeah. Okay, this works well.
Okay. So I got
And
married
if you
when
can
I was
speak a little bit louder.
Speak a little bit louder.
Yeah.
So I got married when I was about 23, and then we split up when I was just before I turned 30.
Oh wow.
And it was about that time that we split up that I got the job tour leading, right?
Okay.
So then I was single for 10 years, almost 10 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
It's crazy.
Do you think it's easier to find that type of committed relationship in your 20s as opposed to later on?
Absolutely.
Okay, because
Absolutely.
I actually, everybody knows on the internet now that I am single, and I'm fine with that. But I think it is harder to just figure out, what you want in your 20s. So tell me, do you think that it's because perhaps, maybe you didn't know what you wanted at that time, and during your 30s you felt like you did, or what do you think it was? What's the secret sauce?
Well, I think it's a few different things. I think number one, the pool is just bigger. There's more single people in your 20s and your 30s. But, as the older you get, the smaller that pool becomes as everybody pairs off. And your age, if you're dating in your age range.
Oh, man. How exciting.
I know.
We have a third guest with us who is joining us on the podcast.
Oh, my God, it's such a new baby.
It's like a new baby.
Newborn.
Like a very new baby. Okay.
Let's bring it on the podcast.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no.
So,
we're going to leave that in.
I think it's a few different things. I think the pool is so much bigger. And then I also think that in your 20s, you're still very, your personality, your character hasn't really hardened up yet.
Got it.
So you're much more malleable, right? You're open to move into each other's lives easier and take on new hobbies and new ways of thinking. You're much easier.
Okay. Okay.
I think that, and then the older you get, the more you know what you want, the more you don't know what you don't want, and you've been burned, you're less likely to be vulnerable.
That's true.
Because the more you're burned, then the thicker those walls get.
That's true.
And then you're just kind of keeping everybody out.
Right.
So I think that's all part of it. Do you think that I'm speaking loud enough now?
Yeah, I think you are. I think we're good with the audio. I'm trying to get the actual video going though.
Okay.
Yeah, at a good angle. So I think this is better. Do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so
what else? I think there was another thing that I wanted to say about why it was easier in your 20s, but I forget.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And when it comes to you, you'll let me know. I mean, I think you're absolutely right. And in my personal experience, I think dating in my 20s, I mean, I was in relationships. They were so much easier and easier to come by. And I agree with you. I think it was because I didn't know exactly what I wanted. And I feel like I became more cemented in my convictions around what I need in order for my relationship to work later on. So yeah, I'm with you. So okay, so tell me a little bit more. So we're now in your 30s and you're out of a relationship. You've become this tour leader, this international tour leader, and now what?
So I was tour leading full time for something like 4 years after I started. So I started when I was 30 till I was about 34. So 33, 34, I forget. And during that time, I was just on the road constantly. So, 5 months at a time, I'd be out on the road, just going from tour to tour and never back in Vancouver where I lived. So there was really no allowance for dating in that. Like when I would come off the road for the summer for a couple of months, I would date, meet someone, go off on tour again in September, and we stay in touch, and then eventually they meet someone else and they move on.
Okay,
it was a pattern that repeated again and again, and it was kind of okay with me in my early 30s, and I was just out of this relationship, which was not awful. I love him dearly and wish him the best, but I was kind of happy to just be on my own for a while. But then after a certain point, after a few years of that,
it gets tiring.
It gets lonely. You want someone, and you see everybody else in your life pairing up, and everybody has someone, and people are starting to have kids. So at that point, I decided to stop tour leading full time. I would still lead a few tours a year, but then I just lived in Vancouver and I worked at the office for my company. And I started dating online.
Okay. So you entered the wild world of online dating. How long did you do it? Because I don't think you did it for that long, was it?
Oh, and I had profiles when I was tour leading too. I had like plenty of fish and all that, I mean, I did meet people from time to time, but I was never home.
Right.
But because you have that, everyone has that side of you where you want to, well, I shouldn't say everyone, but most people have that side of them that you need fulfill, that romantic side. So I was always, meeting people online, even though I'd be like in Athens and no possibility of maybe meeting them for months, I would still like communicate.
So you'd slow roast them. No, my friends and I, we talk about this because I have a lot of really international friends. I have friends who are travel bloggers and lead. Here we are, travel leaders, travel or tour leaders, and they're always talking about, he'll wait. And I'm like, but you're going to be in Barcelona and he's in like Zanzibar. No, they wait for you. Don't worry. So can you tell, this kind of is a good segue because you and I have talked about the 3-day date and
3-day relationship.
Okay. The 3-day relationship. Yes. And I've been in a couple of 3-day relationships. They have been some of the most epic journeys of my life. And I've learned so much from them. But tell me,
well, that's a kind of something that was named by one of my female colleagues, another tour leader. She was like, "We're all pros at the 3-day relationship."
Yeah. How does it start? Tell me, how does a 3-day relationship start?
Well, you maybe you've been going to the same restaurant in a city for years, and you get to know one of the servers or the bartender or the manager, and then something like that. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So this is so you're cultivating long relationships.
But that's one
long term, not long term. But I'm putting air quotes for those of you who can't actually see us. Long term relationships with folks that are cultivated over time. Okay.
But that's like one of them. But I mean, it's the most common was maybe you have a week off in between tours and you go to the one of the Greek islands and meet a fellow traveler and stuff, and you know, kind of date for 3 days and then never see each other again.
So basically you're going out like to different tourist locations and like getting to know each other pretty much. Okay. And have you, I mean, I personally have had a 3-day relationship, like I said, but they've always kind of gone up in flames. And by day 3, I come to the realization that this person is deeply flawed, and so am I, of course. But like the chemistry is just not there, and it really is something else. So like, have you ever had an instance like that where you've just the light bulb went on and you were like, oh, I need to get out. Thank God this is 3 days.
Yeah, several times.
Okay. Okay.
Like there was this guy in Vienna, and
Oh
oh my
God.
God, he was like in a band, and he was like I'm writing a song about you.
Okay,
And,
they're
like,
always in a band and
just-
writing songs.
he was like,
Creatives.
I feel like, you're the one for me. It was like we've known each other for 2 days, and it was just
But
it was
that's-
a lot.
but you know that's how-
I still get emails from him sometimes.
But but I think that's a really good segue because creatives are like that. And please feel free to, whoever is watching this later on, like feel free to tell me if I'm wrong about this. But like, I think creatives, they wear their hearts on their sleeves, and they feel and they emote, and they feel strongly that you're the one. I mean, I've been in this situation like that, like where the person felt really strongly that they wanted to be with me, and then
I'm just too like realistic.
Are you
for
a little
that.
bit too
just like spoil the romance?
So-
dude, no.
okay, so what's funny? I actually took what do you call it? A personality test very recently, and I took it a couple years ago. It's the Myers-Briggs personality test, and I basically had. The first time I took it, I actually got an E for extrovert, which I thought was really interesting because, and looking back on it, at that time, I was extroverted, much more extroverted, and I think it was because I was kind of doing this performative thing, and I probably didn't know myself too much. But now I took this recently, and I got an I, and it turns out that my description is called a logistician.
Interesting.
Yes. So I am not the person for the 3-day date. Don't come over here. I'm actually a lot more practical than I was when I was like 25 and I took it the first time.
Yeah.
And I think
it changed.
Exactly. And I think that's it. You change. I mean, you're more practical. So tell us a little bit more about the journey to finding that person. And I'm curious about how the selection process works from someone who is out of the game.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, when I went off the road from stopped tour leading full time, I started online dating, crazy, and I was so bad at online dating.
Yeah.
And I would make dates with people, and then I would cancel at the last minute all the time.
Oh, you flaked?
Yeah, my friends always made fun of me about that because I would think, I could be at home in my pajamas, it's drinking wine and watching Sex in the City. That sounds a lot more fun.
No, I get it. I feel like I'm entering that stage where I'm kind of like, well, I could meet you for a drink, or I could be at home working on my podcast and writing and doing things that I actually really love, as opposed to meeting you. And that's not the way you should do it. No, that's never the way you should do it. They say you should really put yourself out there. I'm gonna check this while you go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I did online dating for years, and I never met anyone, that
worthwhile.
Well, I met nice people, but nothing that ever developed into like a real relationship.
Yeah.
I just felt like with online dating it was often so forced. Like even
transactional,
even if you feel like it clicked, like it just felt like we're performing dating, we're performing a relationship, but we're not really in it.
Wait,
it
so
didn't
even
feel real.
when you say clicked, do you mean like even if you're going months afterwards?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah, like there was this one guy I dated for about something like maybe 3 months or something. Very nice guy, very, very good guy. But it was just, there was something just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. Nothing wrong with him, nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
It just wasn't there. But we were both just kind of going through all these motions because I think that we just really were both at that age where we wanted this. And good on paper, right? Like we just kind of fit for each other. But in the end, of course, you can't force something that's not real. I met some. I met some nice people. I met some crazy people. I met some weird people.
Yes, I met some weird people.
Some people just are they don't know how to. Like I met this guy. We were on a date. We hit it off so great.
Yeah,
so great. It's like this guy is really, really cool. He texts me the next day. Oh, I had a great time. We were texting back and forth. And then all of a sudden he texts me, I bet you're a real wildcat in bed.
Let's talk about that. I'm going to take off my sweater for this one. No, let's talk about that because you know what? I think the problem is men. No, that's a man thing. That's not even him being weird. That's a man thing.
Yeah.
So you meet a guy and you hit it off, and of course I want you to see me sexually. That's the point, right? Like,
Yeah.
why are we dating?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
eventually we're going to get there. What is it with men and like putting it all out there with us? Now, there are women who are into that. I mean, in
Yeah.
certain circumstances, I get it, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm always curious about like why, you know what it is? I think they are thinking with their members as opposed to what they
Yeah.
like. No, seriously, like they're thinking down there as opposed to up here, and not necessarily trying to attract the woman. They're just like really excited, you know.
And maybe he was trying to see if there was sexual chemistry. Or
But you can see that
whatever.
eventually, right?
Yeah, it was too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Guys, if you're thinking of
Wrecked.
if you're gonna hit send on the dick pic, if you're gonna hit send, no, it's
Yeah,
we
I
have to
know.
say this. This is a PSA. If you're going to hit send on the dick pic, if you're gonna send some sort of crazy messages to people, think a moment. Just take a moment and really reflect, okay? Because I think it's really important for us to be a little bit more measured in the way that we come across. That's all. My
Thank
thoughts
you.
on that. Yes.
I
So
agree.
don't send us those
Don't do
things
it.
unless we ask for
Don't
them.
do
We
it.
don't want to see it.
We don't
Stop.
want to see it.
Just stop. Just stop it.
Stop it.
Yeah, just stop it. We don't want
It's
it.
bad.
We don't want it.
It's
I
bad.
mean, I've actually had instances where I've been on a dating app or even met someone organically, and I've actually had to kind of do a preemptive strike because I could tell it was coming. I was like, oh, he's getting excited, and like we're just talking about random things, but it's like it's just like, hey, don't send that. We don't want to see it.
Yeah, you don't.
Not yet.
Give it time. Like,
Yeah,
that's
not
one
yet.
thing. I don't think people take time and anymore. Just take
Well,
time to get to know someone.
That's because of the transactional nature of things
Yeah.
these days. Like it's so much easier to. I mean, you literally have a Rolodex, a black book, a little black book in your pocket. People wake up and they just kind of swipe, and it doesn't really matter. So, and also there's the protection of being behind a screen.
Yeah.
You don't know the person really, so you can really send whatever you want, and you forget that these are really people. So
Yeah.
that's just my thought. Okay, so I kind of, you talk about being kind of going far off course and how the excitement associated with that, but then also like sometimes things just get upended in travel. But there was a moment in your life where things kind of got upended as well, and I kind of want to hear you speak a little bit about that
Sure.
and how you navigated that situation. So walk us through it.
Okay. So, like I said, I was online dating, fail, not going well, just
Yeah,
forever single.
yeah.
And what happened to change my life is I is going through cancer treatment.
Okay.
Um,
And that was
talking
just,
about when things go far off course
Right,
and then
right.
finding the good in it. Because you might think that's crazy that how can you find any good in having cancer? Well, it really did change my life, change my outlook. So I was 35 when I got diagnosed with breast cancer and went through, about a year of chemotherapy and radiation, surgery, all of that. And crazily, looking back,
yes.
I dated when I was in treatment.
I
I dated.
You're a trooper.
I know.
And this is the moment, and you've told me this before, and so I'm like, I can't believe that you would do that because I had surgery one time and I went on a couple of days and people were like, oh my God, I would have taken that month off. But like, you're literally, you have cancer and you're going on dates.
Bald, wearing a wig.
Okay,
Dating.
no, you
Yes. Yes.
you win. You win. No, you win. So I had surgery and I had 2 surgical boots on my feet and a cane. And I was like, I'm
Wow.
going on this date. And like, so walk me through how you ended up on these dates, how you met these people. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm going to go check the camera as
Okay.
well. Again. And this is a good time for us to break.
Okay.
All right, we're back. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Notice anything different? Switch seats. Okay. So anyway, what were we talking about?
Cancer. It's so fun.
Nice. Talking about cancer. So,
So cheerful.
yeah. So, cancer and dating.
Yeah.
We talked about your experience. Oh wow, your experience
Yeah.
when it comes to dating and cancer, and you were going into detail about how you met these people, how you tell me a little more.
Yeah. So I had no expectation that I would date when I was in treatment,
Yeah.
but I just so happened to run into this guy who actually my sister had dated years
Okay.
ago.
Wait,
No,
so your sister dated this guy?
yeah, years and years before. We all went to university together. So I
Okay.
ran into him up at the university where my sister lives up near there. Anyway, so I just happened to run into him, and he was at this farmer's market that was every weekend at the university. And then I would just run into him, and then he asked me out, and we started dating. And
Okay. Look at you.
I was at the beginning. I was just at that point where I just cut my hair in preparation to lose it all, and then at the deepest point of our relationship, I was like deep into chemo and like bald. And
that's a lot.
So out of it, it's weird. He was a very nice guy. He ended up dumping me because he said that the cancer stuff was much harder for him than he had anticipated.
Well, that is like
I get it.
I get it. And my God,
but it's brutal.
I'm at a loss for words because I can't imagine like one going through it. Two, trying to go through that and then also have a relationship, like a meaningful relationship, and then trying to divide your time as someone, as a survivor, and the emotional toll that takes on you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sucks.
It's really weird looking back to imagine that I really did that, and I honestly don't remember much of the relationship with him because I was in chemotherapy, and it's just. I was in this kind of weird haze, and so it's all very foggy to me.
Right.
But it's life goes on.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Life goes on, and so after he and I broke up, I continued to date because I was like,
why not?
I did it before. I can keep doing
do it again. Exactly.
So I remember going on a date with this guy, and my hair was just starting to come back in, so I had like this tiny, I looked like I just shaved my head to join the military or something. And I did that, but I just went on a few like online dating dates.
Yeah.
But then I stopped at a certain point because I just
You felt like did you feel like after that experience you needed to recharge? Like what was so you're out of the cancer, out of chemo. I mean, and you've survived, and so now you're in remission. Like, what is the experience like trying to get back on track? I guess you could say.
Well,
like
the biggest hurdle, and I hate to say this because it sounds so superficial and vain, was that just feeling ugly after losing my hair, being bald, and then it's growing back in, and it's just dealing with the appearance issue. So that's part of the reason why I just stopped dating, is that I just didn't feel attractive. It's embarrassing to say. I feel, but that's how I felt.
But no, I think that's so honest. I mean, I think that is, first of all, I think as women, it's hard for us to lose our hair. Like,
it was much harder than I anticipated.
Really? Yeah. I mean, look, I slap on a weave. I know that if I were to just like lose my hair, I would definitely feel some type of way about it. So like, it's not, it makes sense that would happen.
You would probably look good bald though.
The only person I know who looks good bald is Amber Rose. Have you seen Kanye West girl?
Yeah.
This is a sidebar.
She looks great.
I remember the first time I saw that woman, and it was at an awards show, and I wasn't at the awards show. I was watching on TV, so no, my life is not that fabulous. But seriously, like I like to make it seem like I was at this awards shows for BT. And it was wonderful. No, like I was watching TV, and I remember seeing her in the crowd standing next to him, and this was before she was even anything. Like nobody even knew of her, and I remember paused the television and was like, who is that?
Yeah.
Like, I was literally like, who is that? Because she's so stunning and so beautiful, and not a lot of people can pull that off. Like, she's one of those people that she shouldn't have hair, but that's an aside.
Yeah.
Like, she should.
It looks good on some people, and some people no.
No, some people not
Yeah,
so much.
so-
So I don't. So thank you, but I don't know if I have that. That would be funny to see.
Yeah.
But there might be an app for it, so maybe I try it out and see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you would.
Okay, so okay, sorry. Sidebars and segues. That's kind of like what I do. Where were we?
So I stopped dating,
Yeah.
and I just thought I just need to get my shit together.
Yeah,
kind of.
decompress and like
and
yeah.
I'd been through something quite
Yeah.
difficult,
yes.
and it changed me, and in dramatic ways and profound ways. And I was just I feel like it really made me a better person, because it having cancer and facing your own mortality in any way, I think, makes things very clear. So
Yeah.
I got a lot of clarity about what was important to me, about clarity about who I was as a person,
Mhm.
and what I wanted and what makes me happy, and so that was good. And I realized that I really spent a lot of time in my dating career, as I call it, my dating career.
My dating career.
I spent so much
Yeah.
time
It's a job.
thinking about, oh, does he like me? Does he like me? Does he like me? That's
Interesting. Yeah.
too much of that in my mind, instead of, do I like him?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And it was so much of, oh, maybe if I act this way, he'll like me more, or I need to, like, monitoring myself and trying to be the person that this guy would like.
Right,
And
right.
it's so, looking back, I feel really sad for that person when I was like being that way, because that's so, I don't know what the word is, unfulfilling and
Yeah.
fake, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's just not real.
Right. Right.
So I feel like that's something that cancer gave me, is
it
it's
gave
kind
you
of
confidence.
confidence,
Yeah.
and it made me really clear on who I was as a person,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
love myself.
There you
That
go.
sounds so cheesy,
No, but it's true.
but you hear that all the time. Until you love yourself, no one else can love you. And it's true.
Yeah,
Cliches become cliches because it's true. And that's 100%, that's something that cancer gave me, is it brought me to a good place like that, where I just felt like I can just be myself.
Right.
And if I like a guy, and if they like who I really am, then it's going to work. And
Exactly.
that's, as soon as I kind of came to that place in my mind, I felt like I just got really quiet in here.
No,
so I'm
this
like
is good.
making these pronouncements. As soon as I got to that clarity
Mhm.
in my life, that's when I met Armando.
There you
That's when
go.
I met Armando.
There you
And
go.
I was
I
just,
love it.
I became kind of committed to being what I used to call to myself, being ruthlessly myself.
Yes.
And
Okay.
just being, I have to just be absolutely ruthlessly
Yep.
myself.
Yep.
And take me, leave me, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because
you.
if you like me and I like you, then we're going to be in each other's lives. But if it doesn't go both ways, then it's not meant to be,
Yeah.
right? Anyway.
Yeah. No, I
So
love
it's good.
that.
It was a very difficult time in my life, and I do not wish it upon anyone.
No,
Of course.
I would not want that to happen to someone
No.
in order for them to get to that place.
No.
But we all
And
go
it's
through
sad that
things.
it took that for me to get to these realizations. Well, sad maybe isn't the right word, because it is what it is. That's my path.
Exactly.
That was my path. So that's when I met Armando, and it was so crazy because I went to Las Vegas. I was going to Las Vegas for a friend's wedding, and my hair, when it grew back in after chemo, grew in really curly, and my hair wasn't curly before. Really, really curly.
That is so interesting.
And
Like it chemically changed.
Yes.
Like it chemically
yes,
just
the
changed
texture
bonds.
changed.
Yeah, everything was different.
and it was coming in so curly, and it was coming in patches, like all different lengths. It was so traumatizing.
Oh wow.
So I went to the hair salon right before I went to Vegas to get my roots done and whatever. And she's like, "Oh, let me blow out your hair." And I'd not kind of straightened or got my hair blown out since the whole thing. It was like the longest it had been. I was like, "Oh, don't even bother because it's all different lengths. It's going to look really ugly and stupid." And she's like, "Let's just try."
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was such an emotional moment. I wasn't facing the mirror, and she like turned the chair around, and I was like, it's the first time I look like myself
Yeah.
since this all happened.
Yeah.
And something so, like I said, I feel like vain and superficial saying that, but like it made me feel like myself again. So I felt pretty again, and then combined with this new like confidence and clarity.
Yeah.
And then I went to Las Vegas, and really kind of like a great state of mind, just there to have fun. And Armando was there, and we just kind of
Clicked.
It happened at the right time.
Yeah.
He was great.
I love
and
that.
is great, and
Yeah.
now we're married. That's 5 years ago.
I love that. No, I love that. And I think,
Yeah.
I don't think that you should, I don't think you should walk back, how you felt in that moment necessarily, because I think that's a real feeling. That's real stuff. I mean, I've had the host of a beauty podcast on a couple episodes back, and we talked about beauty, and it's not vapid, it's not surface. Like it goes, especially for us women, especially in the society we live, it goes really deep. And hair and makeup and all that stuff, like it, at the end of the day, does it matter? No, but it is an important part of making ourselves feel beautiful, making ourselves feel attractive to our partners. I totally get it. And I think that experience, I mean, sounds like you came out so much like with like this kind of like this new outlook on life.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love
it
that.
is cool.
I love that. I don't even think I even heard that story before. This is an aside. Sorry, guys. I'm just speaking privately. They're not on the podcast. No, like seriously.
It was really emotional.
Yeah,
I started
I would
crying.
be emotional too.
The woman doing my hair started crying.
Of course.
And then a couple of other
I wanna
women
cry.
there working, they started, we were all like crying. They were like hugging. I was like, oh, it was like really, it was
so
a
good.
crazy moment.
I love it. No, that's super. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay.
It was great.
So you're out of the game now,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I'm so out of the game. I'm so happy. Sorry.
I'm just trying to be where
I'm a
you
smug married person. Smug.
Look, it's so funny. I had a friend who reached out to me and she's like, yeah, but you're single, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no. It's hard out here for us. It's a tough life. I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love the freedom of being able to just kind of do my own thing. Like, I don't have to check in with really anyone, But at the same time, like, if this is a goal, even with clients, I'm like, if this is a goal, I get it. I see what's happening, So, anyway,
yeah.
Now that you're out of the game, now that you're here in Stockholm, tell me, the one thing I like to leave everyone with is, kind of your tricks of the trade, what your personal rule is, anything that you think is a guideline of the mating game.
Well, I just have to repeat what I said before. Is about be ruthlessly yourself. I love it. I think if I could impart any wisdom to, like, say my nieces going as they're getting older and they start dating and stuff, that would be it. It's like, just be yourself. Easy as that sounds, it's not so easy for some people. And think about, what do you want? Don't think too much about, don't obsess about, do they like me? Think about, do you like them?
Yeah.
What else? Let me think of. Date outside your type.
Ooh.
Don't have a type.
Wait, how are you gonna? Wait, you got to go into this one because that's I hear a lot of little words of wisdom from people, and that is something that I say to my clients all the time.
Really?
Date outside your type.
Because in this day and age of like, swiping, you're just going by.
Let me bring this closer because I think people need to hear what we're saying when it comes to this.
Yeah.
Hold on. I think this is very important. Dating.
Like if you're just going by the
Wait, no, wait,
profile.
hold on, Go back. I
Go ahead,
want you to go back and say that again. Date outside your type. Now, what does that even mean? Okay, because I say that oftentimes to clients. Please.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, when I say it, in relation to myself, back when I was online dating, I think I had an image in my mind of the guy that I wanted to be dating, and it was like Dr. McDreamy on Grey's Anatomy. It's
Yes.
like, this is must be like that. But I was just swiping. It's just a profile photo. You can't tell anything about someone's
like a picture book.
personality.
Guys,
you can't
Tinder
tell
is a picture
anything,
book.
and it's not. That's what I would say.
No, I think that you're so spot on, and I think that I have had instances sometimes where I've had to say, well, okay, I want to find everything that you're looking for, but let's try something else. Let's just see what is out there. Maybe there is someone who really just exceeds your expectations.
Yeah.
And so I think that is such great advice. That is such great, that's such a great word of wisdom for someone who is out of the game, guys. So, this isn't another single person. This is somebody who is doing, doing the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, think about when you meet people in the real world, right? In real life.
Yeah.
Like
it's not like swiping,
No, you get to know, kind of, you meet and they say something funny and you laugh and then you find out you're something in common, you go back and forth, and you fall in love with, or you fall in like or lust or whatever with the whole person, not
as opposed
just
to this,
a profile photo.
just the photo of them doing this, or on their wakeboard.
Like if I had to go back in time and do it all over again, I would have gone in like more dates and just like go meet up with more people. Just go and meet. Just like go and do it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm glad I didn't, because I led me to Armando, and we're so happy to get, and he makes me so happy. He's a wonderful husband. If he's watching, I love you.
That's cute. Oh, I hope Armando is watching. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Well, I think this has been so great. Thank you so much.
Well, it's been so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Okay, so tell us again where we can find you, and the name of your blog, and I'll let you take it away.
Okay, so my blog is Far Off Course, so it's faroffcourse.com.
Okay.
And on Instagram, I'm at Far Off Course, and also at Serra Hughes, and that's SERRA Hughes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, this was so fun. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
And if you have any questions for Serra, please feel free to DM me, DM her, email. And the podcast drops on Monday. So thanks so much for joining. Bye.